All right, welcome to Transforming Lives. My name is Tony Kimball, and I'd like to welcome you to our show tonight. We're in season 2, guys. We're still pushing along. We're talking to genuine people with real lives. So here's what I need you to do before you get started. You have to give Facebook permission to comment because I want you to be involved tonight. I want you to comment because I'm excited about my guests. I want you to be involved. Hey, send a hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let us know. Put it in the comment box so we know where you are. But you have to give StreamYard permission to allow that to happen. Well, guys, our mission is to allow people from our communities to share their story to encourage others to live a transformed life. Well, tonight, guys, I have a gentleman that's coming on, and I'm very excited about it. You know, my background is I'm an educator and a coach. So when I began to think about just life in general, I can remember as a football player talking to the older people, and they will tell me, you know, I wish I, you know, and that prompt them to say something they wish they would have. So one of the things I try to do and I want to do is to focus on two things when I am working with the youth. And that is focus and desire. Because what you focus in on, that's where you put your energy at, no matter whether it's good or bad. That's where you put your energy at, and that's where your desires are. So it's important that you surround yourself. And my encouragement now is to start young. You don't have to wait till you're 40. You don't have to wait till you're 50 to make a difference in your community. Well, tonight, guys, I have a gentleman that's coming on that has started a nonprofit organization that said, you know what, I'm not waiting to those latter years of my life. I want to start right now. So at 25, Kenton Hipsher is a motivated young Black man striving for success while bringing the neighborhood up with him. Now living in San Francisco, the Bay Area, the Midwest native has always been curious on how to help the world. He thought medicine was his calling in high school. He found science in undergrad and fell in love with it at grad school at the University of Georgia. After pivoting out of grad school with his master's into the workforce, he found his true passion, biotech, biomedical sales. Now he sells veggie beauty products and wellness ingredients by the day, providing awareness and representation to Black and Brown communities by sharing professional journeys of the Black professionals by night, guys. Look, I'm excited. I met this gentleman on Instagram and we had a conversation and it went in such a positive direction. So guys, give a thumbs up, a what's up, a hello. I want to bring to the stage Mr. Kenton Hipsher.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for having me, Tony. I appreciate it.
Definitely, man. It's a joy to have you on. How is it out there on the West Coast?
You know, the best coast out here, it's pretty nice. The weather's always warm. Unfortunately, I live in the Bay Area, so it's a little smoky right now, but we're making it do what it do. You know, it's a day at a time. Still trying to get the quarantine stuff rolled out, so we're making progress.
Awesome, sir. Awesome. So, you know, definitely the viewers had heard a little bit about you through your bio, but I'm excited to go through and ask you a couple of questions tonight to let them know more about you. So, you know, we want to start at this point. Just tell us about Kenton growing up. Let the viewers know.
Well, I grew up in the Midwest, originally from Indiana. Grew up in a classic home. Pops was there. Mom's was there. It's a very, very average background. It's not like, you know, the LeBron story, no dad, mom raising me, anything like that. You know, I'm trying to support and show love for the people who came up with the traditional background. So that's what I had. You know, Indiana is a very rural state where we're known for really like a couple main things, which is farmland, racing, and basketball. That's like the three main things people know. If you're into music, maybe Michael Jackson, Gary, Indiana, that whole area up there. But Growing up, it was nice, man. It was a simple living. I didn't grow up on a farm or anything. I grew up in
Right.
the city, or in the suburbs, but still we didn't have access to a lot of things. Not like living out here on the West Coast now in the Bay
Right.
Area. It's just so surrounded by tech. So growing up there in the Midwest, that's not a big thing at all. You got Eli Lilly, which is there, and that's pretty much like the major companies. So outside of that, you're not exposed to a lot. So really, that's why I'm so excited to share more of the world and what's out there with the youths and with everybody.
Right, right. So when I think of Indiana, the first person that comes to mind, right, is Bob Knight.
Of
Uh,
course.
yeah, yeah. I have the picture in my head. Yeah. So that's, I think, basketball. So you talked about growing up in Indiana. Uh, could you just tell us about that transition from high school? And you talked about the background of how your town was, but let's talk about from high school to college.
Okay. Yeah. So in high school, I was very fortunate that I was able to receive, a state grant to go to a college preparatory school.
Mhm.
So I spent my first 2 years of high school in public school and then my last 2 years in a private school. So I got to experience sort of the best of both worlds in that sense.
Mhm.
But, for me, school usually came easy. I didn't have to struggle too much or really develop study habits or anything like that. I was just able to sit down, look at the problem, do my best to understand, and then be able to crank it out. But then transitioning from there into college, it was a whole nother world. It was just another beast. Like,
Right.
especially for me, because even coming from a college prep school, I went to Rose Holman in Terre Haute, Indiana,
Mhm.
and it's a primarily engineering school, but they do have some of the other STEM fields as well. But the rigor of academics there is tough. I mean, it's tough. It's not like a normal school where you're on a semester system. You're on sort of a quarter system or a trimester system of sorts. And it's just really quick. It's really quick. You got 6 weeks to get in, get your class done, and get out. That's it.
Right.
It goes by super fast. So, and nobody's there to help you, right? And no one's there to tell you, hey,
Right.
manage your time, get your stuff done. Like that's what you need to do, especially as a student athlete, like I was. It was tough. It was tough to manage it all, but eventually, I just had to look myself in the eyes and say, hey, man, like you got to learn how to study. Like, you're gonna have to
Right.
learn how you learn.
Right. Right. And that's when I learned how to study or the lack thereof. That's when it happened once you get to that particular point in your life. And
Mhm.
and those that are viewing, we have those that may be in college. We have those that are on the post side of college, or whatever the case may be. That it's important that we focus in on what's necessary. So I think that's very important. So you talked about having to make that transition, and my thoughts are I didn't make the transition by myself. So who are the biggest, who had the most influence, the biggest influence on your life?
Definitely, yeah. Of course, my family had a huge influence on me. I was the first person, or I would say the first of my family members to go to college. My mom, she had gone to school earlier than that, but she's kind of been on and off. So I was the first person to fully go through the process all 4 years at a 4-year institution.
Right.
So that, navigating financial aid, navigating, really the college process alone was something new to me. In addition to that, really a lot of my friends, my friend group influenced me a lot.
Mhm.
I feel like in college is a very special time where you're just around a lot of people who are your age. They're
Right.
thinking the same way you are, and there's also a lot of people from different backgrounds that you get exposed to. So it helped me a lot to mature and I think really understand what everybody's walks of life were like, and kind of get outside of my bubble.
And that's important. And That's the unique thing about social media, even in our interaction, where I can't say that I've been to the West Coast yet. I'm going to get out there. Okay, so that's going to happen. My wife is probably looking at me like, sure, yeah, you are. But we're going to get to the West Coast. Social media gives us that opportunity. So, my introduction to you was through your IG handle, the Black Professional, well, hashtag Black Professional Project. So I would like the viewers to know, tell us about this project and what got you started.
Of course, yeah, I'm happy to. So the Black Professionals Project, we're a nonprofit organization. Our mission is really centered around bringing awareness and representation to the youth in terms of professional careers. So if you look at the statistics in America, most major companies, there's not a lot of Black and brown representation there in terms of leadership. It's actually a little less than, I want to say, 15%
Wow.
of major companies in the United States. And then when you get to the Fortune 500 level, it's much lower than that. It's less than 1% Black and brown, which is crazy considering you think about things like sports. We're dominating. We're out here. We've taken over the sports category. Not to, separate out anybody, but just looking at the numbers, like 72% of the NBA, Black and brown.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like 50% of the billboards last year, Black and brown. We're there in those spaces, but I think the key distinction that I wanted to make there to the youths and people who have these dreams of, I want to grow up and be LeBron, or I want to be the next Kobe or Michael, or I want to be Beyonce or something. It's great, have those dreams, but understand the game. Don't just play the game, understand the game, and then you can choose how you want to participate in it. Because, we might make up 76% of the players, but the people behind the scenes who own those organizations, essentially who own those players,
right,
they're not Black and brown. Right. So what we should be doing is focusing on not only playing in the game, but owning the game. And understanding that. But I think there's two main hurdles that we have to get over. And the first is the oppressive system that we live in. And that's something that we're actively fighting every day. So that's why it's very important. And I'll tell you guys, it's very important to exercise your civic power and go vote. Get out there and use your voice. Whether if you're voting Democrat or voting Republican, whatever it is, just you exercise your voice, man, because you only get once. So exercise it, please. And especially when it comes to the local elections, it's very important that you guys do that. But in addition to the system, there's also a lack of awareness about these careers that are out there. There's a lack of representation or people who look, sound like us out there. So it's very key that, people are doing the work that I'm doing, or at least giving back to their communities, and not only financially, but with time, sharing what they do on a day-to-day basis, becoming mentors for people, helping facilitate the success of others like yourself. And so that's why I started the organization, because, there's a lot of opportunities out here, but everybody may not know about them, and they may not see people who they're comfortable talking with who are in that role. So I want to introduce that to them.
And I commend you for that, because a lot of times the Black and brown community, they do step back because they're like, well, I can't, that's not me, or it doesn't seem like I fit in that role. And I think it's very important to bring awareness, not only awareness, but action as well, to, as you spoke about, go out and vote. That's important. So, if there's this stigma that's there, I want to ask one thing is, if a system is set up to push back, well, my question is, before, we can move forward, can we define, what does transformation, define transformation for me, because it's needed, but could you define it for me?
Of course, yeah. So So a transformation to me is, a semi-permanent change in oneself that's leading to a permanent change later.
Great.
So you may not necessarily, take, for example, exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you start working out every day for a week, that doesn't mean that you're eventually going to meet your goal of getting fit.
Right.
You have to live that life. You have to do that, every week after week after week. It has to become permanent. So it's the consistency behind the change that I think makes a difference between just changing something and transforming something. You have to be consistent.
Right. I agree. And you talked about working out. I had a flashback to college. I had that 6 a.m. in my mind, but they were consistent, and they were teaching us something about how to stay the path. And there's a result, but we have to continue. So yeah, definitely. It's all about transformation. And that's something that's dear to me when I think about life. So, we're looking at professionals, talking to professionals. Professionals are on. We have those that desire to whatever career path they desire to go in. Could you give us 2 keys to transforming for professionals?
Of course, yeah. So the first one I would say is detach yourself from your beliefs. And I know that may sound a little weird, right? I'm not telling anybody to forsake their Lord or whatever that be. But what I'm saying is see the world for what it is. Everybody has their own opinions of things, but sometimes you just have to see a spade as a spade.
Right.
You can't put any extra spin on it just because that's how you believe what it is. You have to accept what it is and then be able to navigate the world around it or through it. So that would be the first thing I say. And then the second thing is manage your time to the best of your abilities. That's really a very, very key. And one of the things that I'm trying to instill in my daily life, my daily practices, is spend 5% of your time planning and then 90% of your time doing. And then in the remainder 5% of your time, start adapting and reacting to the situation. Because everybody wants to think about what they want to do. They want to sit down and pin it down to the finest detail. But in all that time you've done no action.
Right.
So you have to get out. You have to start doing, and then don't forget to adapt to the situation.
Right. And that's transformation. I mean, that's it. I mean, that time of, you can write out this plan, but it sounds good, but until you put some action with it. So yeah, man, that's powerful. Thank you for those 2. So you're giving us keys to, in terms of our professional life. So, someone is out there dreaming right now, and they're listening to you, and they're saying, all right, I hear you. I hear you, sir. I hear you, Kenton. What would you say to those to encourage them to go after their dreams?
This is a question I get a lot. And it's a difficult question to answer for people. Mm-hmm. But the best way that I've simplified it for myself is just do it scared. Just go out there and do it, no matter if you're fearful or not, because you know what? If you can push through that fear and break through, you will have a breakthrough in your life. And that's super key right there, because fear can be paralyzing to a lot of us. But if you recognize it for what it is, it's just an emotion, it's just a protection system, and you can push past that, that's where the real growth that's where the real growth happens. And that's where you start to begin to live life. So honestly, just, go out there and do it scared. And if you're dreaming about, something you want to do, I would say definitely make sure you figure out a way to make money off of the things that you like doing, and don't have a backup plan. I mean, go full in. If you're going to do it, you got to commit. You got to be all in on it. And ultimately, if you do those things, I feel like you'll be successful, and you'll find a way to, become the person or the thing that you want to become. And for a lot of people, it's really tough for them to have to think about this because they're thinking, oh, if I make this sacrifice, then I won't be able to watch Netflix for this year, or I won't be able to go on this trip, or man, I'm gonna have to crash with one of my friends or something. It's like, if you got to do that to succeed, man, think about where you want to be as a person, and then think about how long it's going to take you if you were to sacrifice these things now or have to sacrifice them later. But at some point, there's going to be a sacrifice.
Right. There's no skipping that. You can't skip sacrificing. Man, I agree. We could talk about that the whole time because people are putting out projects, they are putting out books, and these things are basically their stories of their transformation. That's pretty much when I was a football coach. When I'm looking at this material, these are the thoughts of people that have gone through game planning, teaching. It's information, post information. This is tried and true information. So I love what you just said. Go at it scared. That's important. And fear, when fear steps in, man. But if you go at it, just go. Just go. Right. I love that. I love it. I love it. So, I've asked you several questions. What's one thing I didn't ask you, but you would like to share tonight?
A question that I get a lot too is, what's the most important thing considering professional development? And my answer to that is, and probably will always be, networking. Networking is super key, man. I mean, 9 times out of 10, I would say having the understanding and the knowledge of what you're trying to do is very, very key, very critical for your progress. But who you know and who can make that decision to get you somewhere or help you along somewhere almost always goes over what you know. So really, it's not what you know, it's more so who you know. And really consider this when you're thinking about your future career, because a lot of people are thinking, oh man, I got to go to college because that's just the thing to do. But your mindset shouldn't be focused on, let me go to college to go to college. Your mindset should be focused on your goal. Where is that education going to take you? Right. How will it get you to your goal? So networking is key. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody. That's how we met, was networking.
Right. That's, man, the networking is a whole, man, you could do a whole show on networking because, it's so many skills in it, or so many skills you have to have. But I think one of the first steps is just say hello, be genuine. That's probably the first step. And I think that's the art you pick up. I know for me in my profession in education, you have, since you wear multiple hats, that's one of them. So I thank you for bringing it up. And like you said, if I just didn't push the button, we wouldn't have this opportunity right here, right?
Of course. I just want to take that another step further because there was something you said that stuck with me there, and that was be genuine.
Yeah. And
there's a very fine line here that I think some people have a difficult time navigating, and I want to give them something to try to help them navigate that. Mm-hmm. And that's when you're talking about be genuine, that's maintaining your morals, your integrity, your character in the conversation. Now, where people struggle with this is they say, well, I'm going to network with somebody about something that I'm not even doing yet, but I'm interested in. So I have this this sort of fraud. I feel like a fraud, I'm not this person. I'm not a software engineer yet, or, I'm not a rapper yet. Why should I go talk to these people if I'm not doing what I want to do already? And really it's because if you don't ask, you'll never know. Like my mom tells me this all the time. She still says this, and she'll probably be saying this till the day she dies. But if you don't ask, you'll never receive. So right. You have to ask the question And don't be afraid to talk to these people because, at some point they were where you are now.
Man, so you started something there. So that's the part of it. And if you, I remember a coach saying this to me when I first became a defensive coordinator, and just saying something out of the blue. I said, one day I'm going to talk to an NFL coach. And, I'm not even thinking about putting any legs to that. Just saying I'm going to call him. So he called me on it. And he said, well, there's no difference in them and you. They put on their pants just like you do. So he called my bluff on it. So one of the things I did do is I put action with that. And here's the thing. I talked to a very famous defensive coordinator. Gentleman is Dick LeBeau of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know who your football team is.
It's not the Steelers. It's not the Steelers. I'm going to put that out there right now. It's not them, but I got respect. I got respect for the Steelers. So all them haters out there who just mad because, they've been out here winning. Not in the past couple of seasons, but, over history, they've been winning. I'm going to give y'all credit. Y'all been winning. We look at the history.
Yeah.
So I got respect for y'all.
Right. So, talk, and I got the opportunity to talk to him, an NFL coach. And this is not just any NFL coach. He's a pioneer. And for him to talk to me on the phone and just speaking about genuineness, like that changed how I approach people. All you can do is just say no or don't talk to me. That's the two things you can do.
That's the worst it could be. Somebody says no, honestly. And what did you lose? Nothing.
Right. Nothing. So for you to bring that up is important. In fact, I'm going to point this out right here. My actual former college coach is on right now, man. That's amazing. Coach Williams.
Hey, Coach Williams, thank you for coming on. We appreciate you showing up.
Yeah, so he definitely, has some impact on my life as well. So when I'm looking at, we're down to our 2-minute blitz. My question to you is, if you could do anything to improve professionals in the rural area, what would you, say or do?
Growing up in a semi-rural area, having friends that lived really out in the sticks, don't let your location limit you. That's the best piece of advice I could give you possible. We have the internet today. There's no excuse for why you should not be able to connect with anybody across the world. If you want it bad enough, you'll go get it. And don't be afraid to move. Like, your location should not be your location forever. People who, if you look at these CEOs or NFL players, NBA players, entertainers, they're constantly moving. Why? Because they're trying to get to their goal. So Absolutely. Don't be afraid to move if you need to, and reach out to people like we said, network.
Man, that's powerful. It's great information. For whatever stage you are in your life, is definitely important. So, we're close to wrapping it up. What are 3 words you want to leave with the viewers?
Again, I just want to echo, do it scared. Just do it.
I love it. I love it. Do it scared. So, I appreciate you coming on. Let the viewers know how they can reach you or provide them with, some more information about you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Before I get into that, I appreciate you having me on. So yeah, you can go check us out at the Black Professionals or hashtag Black Professionals Project on LinkedIn. We have our own LinkedIn page, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all at BLK_professions. You can message me there. On YouTube, you can just search the hashtag Black Professionals Project, and we've got, a good amount of videos up there. We've got, I think, about 11 videos out right now that are sharing different Black professionals in their careers. We alternate male and female every week, so we keep that gender balance. And really, we just want to uplift and empower Black and brown professionals to share their careers with these youth so that they can be educated and inspired to take action. And also, if you're a youth out there who's watching this and you're interested in some of the videos, or you have a career in mind that you want to hear about that you haven't seen yet, comment it. Send us a message. Send Tony a message. Let us know. And I will personally reach out to somebody and get them onto the show so you can learn more about their career. And also, just the last thing, in each and every one of our videos in the description, I've put resources down there for the youths or other professionals out there who want to grow themselves. There's career placement tests. There's personality tests. So you can figure out what personalities may fit certain careers for you. And also there's lots of resources to free, paid internships, research opportunities. So you can get out there and get the experience that you need, because what's the first thing they say at a job interview? Oh, you got any experience? Well, there it is. Yeah. There's paid free experience for you.
Right. Absolutely. Well, Kenton, sir, I thank you for coming on again. You've given him more information. Definitely check him out at those Black professional, and he definitely has resources for you. I wish you well tonight. I'm sure this is not going to be our last conversation, and I look forward to talking to you in the future, sir.
Thank you. Thank you again for having me on the platform. I'm happy to come on here and share a little bit of my experience with the people. And Tony will be on our show as well, so you can check him out on the #Black Professionals Project on YouTube early next year. We've already booked out enough professionals for the rest of 2020. We're working on 2021 right now. So you can look forward to seeing Tony on in January. And other than that, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
All right. Well, you guys, everyone that's watching, you have a great night. We'll see you next week. Have another special guest that's coming on. And this concludes. Good night.